Today is Tuesday, April 9, 2024. It's 9:11 a.m. Eastern, and there are a few levels on the chart, a number of them, 8 to be exact, and several are pretty close together within 10 ES points. So when that's the case, I like to manage my position size accordingly, not trade too many contracts in case they hit multiple levels before sufficient support and or resistance is found. So that's what I'll be doing today. We will circle back around after the market closes to take a look at and analyze all the trades taken in the E-minis based off of these levels after the market closes. See you then. So they decided to pick the day after the eclipse, at least the eclipse in the USA, to act a little out of character. So there were some trades today. I mean, they hit a lot of levels, and I recorded it. So I was in a trade that didn't work out the first time around. Was able to recycle some levels, but I'll talk through a little bit of this right now. So 520.08, the first level the spiders hit. They were below it at 945. These aren't adjusted, by the way, with a 5-cent buffer, but you know that as price comes in, they were below it. So 520.03, they were far enough below that if they came back up and hit 520.03, it would have triggered a short trade. Didn't happen because they were pennies off of it. It would have been nice because would have at least grabbed a base hit before the next level down. 519.20 was the operating level, triggered a long trade. Because at this point, for all you know, they're going to find support here, maybe come down, fill the gap below, and then take off to give you a base hit. But it didn't work out. They consolidated under this, and there was some mixed indications that I was getting. Some what's the word I'm looking for? Divergences, I guess you could say. But before I knew it, they were following, and I had to kind of scramble. So end up buying down here at 518.28 level. I didn't buy again. I basically had the 2 that I averaged in because at this point I'm seeing a lot more downward pressure, a lot more selling. So I ended up reversing at my maximum loss limit a little bit late to the game and just let them fall farther. So I was able to pull a decent amount of points on the remaining contract. Basically lost 20 and gained 20 roughly. So let me just back up here. If you were playing by the rules strictly, you would have jumped out at your maximum loss limit, which, there's a couple different ways to look at this, and one function is a percentage of your overall account balance. It's good to stay within 1 or 2%. That's kind of a best practice. But also, there's other variables that go into that. So since I was only trading one contract, I was definitely in the clear. Could have handled a lot more, but you don't want to just tempt fate and let it go farther. But anyway, and then it would have been up to you, but you could have taken a recycle on these levels on the way back up. Not necessarily 516.40. Didn't know they were going to do that. But here at 517.35, that zone happened to be essentially the 50% retracement of that move for the day. So it worked out that I had a level from there from this morning, and the 518.28 was the 61.8%. So they were good for recycles, and I did take those, and you'll see this. Let's just take a look at the recording to show you how it worked out for me, because it was a little unconventional. As I mentioned, at 9:45, they were right below 520.08. So 520.03 operating level. I'm going to start playing this now. Just had a limit order on the chart, sell 2 there, but they did not come back up high enough. So that pretty much didn't work out. They got to 519.20. I bought 1 contract and expected a base hit. Didn't give it to me. I was in the money a little bit here and there. I'll scrub ahead so you can see this. And when they got below and started staying below the fumble threshold, they just started dropping pretty fast. So I bought another at 518.33. That was an automatic trigger point. So I'm long 2 at this point at 518.33. I'll just let this go. So I'm long 2, and I'm kind of scrambling a little bit, and I didn't buy. I decided not to buy at this next level, and I jumped out or reversed. It was 20-something points in the negative. I realized that loss, and so I was then short 2, and I let it run. I figured they're going to go lower, and sure enough, they did. I even identified a destination below around 513. They never got that low, but I let them go. So you'll see me trail this. I bought 1 back, and then I trailed the other one for essentially almost as many points as I lost the first time around. So that's the unconventional part about this. But once again, if you're looking at things that you're looking for, it helps to have some more information, so you're not really flying blind at just these levels. But anyway, so you can watch this trade play out. And they fell through 515, and identified another level right there, 513. Want to jump out before then, and was definitely willing to buy there. One or two contracts, but they never got that low. So, they started finding some support around this 515 area. So I'll scrub ahead, and you'll see that I did end up kind of just jumping out of this trade when I was in the money, and instead of just, I had a trailing stop at this point, or trailing part of this position, but I just canceled. I just kind of had my eye on it, more of a mental stop. I was prefer just to close this out, when they got down here manually and buy again. But so I'll scrub ahead here. You'll see that disappear because I just closed the position out. And when they're on their way back up, it was 517.40. That area looked pretty promising. There was a couple other areas, so I created a zone by, I think it was 517.35 or so, 30. I was going to start selling there and start selling slightly above 5, or finish selling. So basically, I was willing to buy two contracts, one there, just kind of treating this area as a zone. So here you go. So see my limit orders on the chart. But what they pretty much gave me was one here, the way I like to see it. So it's pretty fast. This is sped up 16 speed. So when they went up to 517.30, sold one contract, immediately turned around and gave me a base hit. I'll just let this play out because it happened pretty fast. So I wasn't in two contracts at this point. The short position was just one, and that was done. So then I kept this other one up here at 517.55. I'll speed up. Of course, as soon as I speed up, they're probably going to jump up there. Here we go. Speed up. I'm going to hit it. I'll retract a little bit. There we go. And back up. Okay. So when they hit 517.30, they pulled back for a base hit quickly, and I went ahead and left the 517.55. I even changed it to 2. I figured I'd go ahead and sell 2 there, because I thought there would be a bigger reaction here. In other words, I could get maybe a base hit on one and trail the other one, kind of like I did on the first side. But when I went short there, they basically just hung around this level for a while, and I was in the money for the most part. But also was kind of getting hungry. I kind of got a late start, so like a cup of coffee or so at 7:30 in the morning, and nothing since then. I've been doing some analysis and trading, get everything set up. So I pretty much was ready to stop and find something to eat. So around 12:30, 12:40 or so, after I was in this trade, I'm getting ahead of myself here. So there we go. I'm short 2, waiting around for them to give me a base hit, or just buy one at the base hit and trail the other one, like I said. And they just kept getting close, and just I didn't really like this. I mean, I understand why they're finding some support here, but I wanted them to get below this level, start closing a few candles below this, and then they'd fall farther. And they didn't want to do this. So I ended up closing out when I was, pretty much a wash. I think I made a few ticks or so, or half a point. So that was, didn't make a note of when this was, but I recognize it. So here we go. So I'm in the money, back up. And they're not giving it to me, so I just jumped out. The entire 2 contract, I just closed it about right there. There we go. And so then I went to find something to eat. So I was away from my computer for the next maybe 30 minutes or so. And when I came back to my computer, I saw what would have been nice if it had happened earlier, but they did exactly what I thought they were going to do, but they just did a little bit later. So they did fall down. So if I'd been patient and waited a little bit longer, I could have squeezed a few more points out of that little trade there. But I did get 518.33. It's not recorded. I let this go for a little while longer, and I had a couple other things to do, but I kept an eye on it. Wasn't recording at the time, but when they jumped up there, like I said, there were several good reasons to go short again at 518.33, and I did. That was the next base hit. So I was able to climb mostly out of the hole that I dug for myself early in the morning. So that was pretty much it for my trades. Don't know if it does any good to look at the full day again, but just now that you saw what happened, kind of visualize, what I was thinking and what I was doing as this was falling. Not to say that you could have done this easily, but because they end up coming all the way back up, I mean, you could have started selling here, buying, and you would have averaged in 5 different positions, say 1 contract at each level. So it's probably not very easy to have 5 contracts in play and be out of the money so many points. It'd be, $5,000 something just with 1 contract. But they did come above this and would have given you more than a base hit if you'd been patient. Of course, you just don't know this stuff, but that's why it's sometimes frustrating to let something like this scare you, and then don't get any kind of recycle or redemption on the flip side of those trades. Let me put my clock back up here so you can see what time it is. Anyway, so those were the trades, and we'll jump into the tracking log. Maybe before we do this, here's the daily chart. Here's our channel, still below it. It is interesting, though, that the high of yesterday, 5/20/18, while they got above it a little bit, they pulled back and closed right below it. Not really maybe too significant, just I find that kind of interesting. Probably not a coincidence that they closed right below it. And they're still within this big breakdown candle. And I think they'd have to get above this, close a day or so above this healthily in this channel before the bulls probably have some semblance of taking back charge. I think the bears are probably a little stronger now, but I don't know. It's just been interesting lately. But anyway, a lot of fun. Let's take a look at the tracking log now. First log is if you were treating this as a process like you should be and playing by the rules, you would have averaged in and hit a max loss limit, jumped out, and up to you to recycle these. There's no reason you shouldn't have on the way back up based on some other indications, but you would have got a couple base hits. So your day would have ended in the red, and not horrible, but not great. What I did was a little different because I did trail a lot when I reversed instead of just bailing out and just watching it and regretting I wasn't in a reversal at that point, and also grabbed a couple base hits on the way back up. So, mostly washed out the carnage from the morning. But those were the trades, and I hope you found it interesting, perhaps learned something, maybe learn what not to do. Anyway, thanks for watching, supporting the channel. Have a great day.